game procedure. Coach will make an opening statement. If you have a question for Coach, just make eye contact with me. We'll try to get everyone as quick as possible.
All right, guys. Again, good evening, and thank you for being here tonight. Really just fired up, impressed with the way our players, our team, our entire organization handled the week in preparation for a team that had been playing really good football team, and handling what they do best, which is tempo, right? Trying to wear people down. And so hats off first goes off to our scout team who simulated them as good as you could possibly do all week long. And because that is a challenge, but the physicality, the level of energy that we played with tonight, albeit a couple of critical mistakes, was progress for our football team. So that being said, questions please.
So Coach, start with Tim Reynolds from the AP.
Mario, I know you're not a big believer in statement games and that sort of thing, but this was a team that's ranked. It's 2 very good games to start the year, and it was about as one-sided as you see a ranked game. Just what does this say about where you guys are at this point?
Well, I mean, again, I like to give them credit because they are good. They've got a lot of speed. They've got a lot of athletic guys that make a lot of plays, and that scheme is hard to deal with. I think our guys, they didn't want to be part of the narrative of, somebody else's success, stepping stone kind of season. That's been the story all week, and there was a lot of motivation going into this thing. Besides the fact that they were a ranked football team, because I have a lot of respect for their coaches and their players. But it's an in-state game, and those things you have to play at your very best because you're never all the way out of these games. And our guys really took it personal to not let anything get in the way of doing their job. Intensity, physicality, urgency, and discipline all came together very nicely for us tonight.
Coach, go to Jordan McPherson from the Herald.
Coach, Mark Fletcher, 2 touchdowns, a lot of gutsy runs in there. Just we've seen over the last couple of years. What did you see from him specifically tonight that stood out about the way he was able to?
Well, it's a loaded box. I mean, it's +1 and then some. I wouldn't say they're in 0, but they're as close to being in 0 as possible. You're almost outnumbered by 2, so there are going to be some muddy, bloody runs in there. And he finds a way to make space and make holes and contact +2, and then as the game wears on, people start taking chances, trying to tackle him a little bit earlier, not let his momentum go, and that's when he's really dynamic. He starts making people pay. His jump cut is outstanding. His ability to accelerate, make people miss, and run through people is awesome. And he's got great eyes. He sees things great, and he gets better as the game goes on. The third and fourth quarter were certainly some of his best play.
And the defense, you guys bent a few times, but didn't really break until that 1 touchdown late in the game. Just what did you see from?
Yeah, I thought the defense was awesome. I know they got down there, they kicked a couple field goals, but they had 4 3 and outs, I believe, an interception, a fumble, and we sputtered on offense. We really could have widened the gap a little bit, but we didn't. We got to get better at that. Certainly a lot of things to work on when we watch the film, but the defense, just the amount of pressure they put on their quarterback, the job they did on 1st and 2nd down to put us in favorable 3rd down situations, allowed us to play to our strengths, right? Our speed, our power, and allowed us to get the ball back.
Coach, go to Adam from the Sun Central.
Mario, speaking of pressure, your offensive line tonight, I feel like Carson gave Carson Beck plenty of time, opened up a lot of holes for Mark and Marty. What did you see from that unit, and what was so successful from them tonight?
It was going to be one of those, again, a very muddy, a very dirty yards type of game. Todd Orlando is an awesome coordinator. I mean, Kevin Patrick does a great job coaching that front as well. They're a very physical bunch. You saw what they did the last couple of weeks. So every angle, every half position, hand placement, leverage, pad level today was going to be critically important. And then being able to fit and move piles was going to end up being the difference in 3rd and short, 4th and short versus the longer yardage situation. So I see physical play. I see guys chasing guys down the field. I see just constant progress and improvement in the type of culture that Coach Mirabal sets for that room on a daily basis.
Coach, go to Brian Lemon.
Coach, obviously Brown has been known to run a lot and get a lot of yards, but you guys did a great job of containing him tonight. What were the keys in keeping him continually at 2 positive yards from the line of scrimmage?
Well, again, he's a great player, and you're right. Like, preparing for him it's as difficult as you could imagine because he does throw a great football. You saw the long passes he hit tonight. You almost hit another one there at the end. So a lot of diligence in watching film, a lot of schematic adjustment, and then some really hard physical play at the line of scrimmage and getting 11 hats of the football. You see a lot of times it wasn't the first guy there, it was the 2nd or 3rd guy there trying to clean things up and getting him on the ground. You've got to wrap him up. You've got to get more hats of the football. You've got to get multiple people on him to eventually wear him down, because you saw what he did last week. He was running through people. So great job by our defense today.
Coach, what did Giselle?
Coach, you guys had a pretty big weather delay, you know, but you had the momentum rolling into it and also came out of it with, you know, that momentum as well with the score. What was something that you told the players, or what was going on during that weather delay?
Relax. You know, we practiced. You know, unfortunately for us, when we came here, the Sunday before we played Notre Dame, we had a practice schedule that night, and we kind of knew there was going to be a delay. And we practiced the delay. We practiced what we're going to eat, what we're going to put in our body, how to keep the players engaged without keeping them too tight, right? Not to waste any energy. How to keep them hydrated, how to keep them off their feet, and then gauge when they're going to actually let us out there, because you still want to plan that so that you're warming up at the right time, that you hit the field in stride, that you're not sitting around waiting, having to come back in. So it is a process. Credit to the sports science department and nutrition. They work at it, and I feel like that they really did a great job preparing our team to come out and play good football.
Coach, we'll go to Andrea Adelson from ESPN.
As a follow-up to what Tim asked you, you said that your guys didn't really want to be a part of the narrative of what USF was doing, but did you sense that they did want to remind people what has made Miami the #5 team in the country?
I don't think we even talk about, I mean, we really don't. I mean, that's, we just want to get better. You know, we got a really awesome group of dudes that they really just don't care about anything outside of Miami. And so the amount of time and effort, like true connection that they have, and the way that they approach their dailies, and the way that they just disallow things to get in the way, I think supersedes all that stuff. I think it's deeper than just noise. I mean, it's, you know, you'll never not accept some extra noise, some extra fuel, you know, but I think these guys are internally driven, and I think it showed up strong tonight.
Coach, go to Walter Villa here from the Herald.
Coach, your thoughts on Beck, not just him throwing the ball, but the added wrinkles running the ball as well?
Well, he's a big guy that can flat out run, you know, and the guy's a winner. He can hurt you in so many different ways. You know, there's a couple he'd like to have back, but we also got to do a better job as a supporting cast on some of those, and create this better, you know, a better distribution relationship between what we're running down the field. But yeah, he's done that. You know, he's done that his entire career. He's really good at it. So it certainly adds to our offensive package and makes us a little bit more dangerous.
Coach, we're gonna wrap up with one more from Matt.
Mario, Josh Moore tonight gets the 2 touchdowns, first 2 of his career here. How much hard work did he put in to get onto the field as a freshman, and then kind of dynamism does he bring to the field when he's on there?
Well, he's gifted beyond, you know, measure. He's certainly unbelievable human being, great upbringing, great parents, hard worker, spends a ton of time and benefits a ton from being around CJ Daniels and Keelan Mary, who have had great games as well tonight. And what you saw today, we see in practice pretty frequently. Those that have visited practice during live play has seen it as well. So I think all of our young receivers, we've spoken about Malachi a bunch, but Chance and Dalen, you know, Upshaw and guys like Nycard, they're coming on really strong too. So we're feeling better and better about our depth at wide receiver, and not only depth, but just the caliber of player there. Josh really shined tonight in a couple different ways, and he's only going to get better.
Great. Thank you, Coach.
Guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.